Hello everyone, this is Lunar Abyss. In this video, we will be doing a breakdown not just on a normal Slipspace ship, but a hero ship. This will be the first video in a new sub-series of the Slipspace Archive called the Hero Archive. As the name suggests, this archive will do breakdowns on the hero ships on the Slipspace mod. While the original idea did come to be a while ago and still remains the foundation of the series, the recent updates to Slipspace have completely changed the name of the game. In the past, hero ships were locked behind certain game modes. The CSO, for example, was added to replace the cast as an April Fool's joke, but also to test the ship. After some time and some bug fixes, the CAS came back and the CSO was relegated to certain game modes in the Slipspace mod. But recently, there has been a breakthrough in the development of Slipspace. I will get to the creator of the mod, Imperator Vegetarius, explaining this himself.
When you release Punic, will it need to only be played in specific game mode? No, actually. We have just figured out how to get the spawning code to recognize your secondary weapon, which means we have basically unlocked another amount of ship spawning slots equal to the number of weapons in reach. We will have specific. General Trex has put together 3 specific capital Slayer modes for the Trafalgar, which is very, very cool of them. So we will be able to play with that, but you will also be able to play it in regular Fleet Slayer and Fleet Invasion if you want. Now, the only thing about it is, be warned that it will wipe the floor with everything. It will be extremely powerful. It's not balanced for Fleet Slayer. Yeah, you will. When this releases, I will be updating all of the game modes to include the new ship spawning code that accounts for this. So that's super sick.
You heard it, folks. Hero ships will be available in normal Slayer and other normal game modes. This changes the nature of the breakdowns entirely, as I just anticipated to make quick guides on how to use the hero ships in their specific modes. Now with them in normal modes, this new reality must be accounted for. Nevertheless, I will continue to do what I always do. Give you the best information I can give you in order for you to excel in piloting any ship. So with that background information discussed, let's get into the ship you all came to see. The Punic. The Punic class, most famous of which was the UNSC Trafalgar, is the UNSC Supercarrier and first hero ship. You heard me right. This thing is so big, it's so powerful, that it is classified as a hero ship. It is also the only UNSC ship to be a 3-sitter, at least for now. This means this thing is an absolute terror for normal Covenant ships. The Covenant will need their own hero ships to bring this thing down. While this thing has powerful mag cannons, you have to treat this ship as its own. This is not a UNSC CAS, nor is it even close to a CSO supercarrier. The Punic can be best described as a heavy carrier, its main role being dispatching longswords, defensive fighters, but also having 2 powerful max and breakwaters. It's easy to think one can dominate a battlefield by just getting on a powerful ship. But after many hours playing Slipspace, I can assure you that this is far from the truth. In order to use this behemoth properly, you need to know everything you need to know. In this video, we will be covering its weapons, strengths, weaknesses, strategies, and some tips and tricks you can do with it. Now, let us begin. The deadliest tool in the Punic's arsenal are its twin heavy mag guns. These guns are as powerful as the Artemis max, but have a reload time of 20 seconds. That means it fires the same round of an Artemis with a doubled rate of fire. On top of this, because it's a hero ship, it has incredible range, even outranging the Artemis. Small Covenant ships are easy prey, and medium-sized ships must proceed with caution when they get in range of these devastating weapons. The second armament of destruction on the Punic are its twin breakwater batteries. Both gunners have access to this weapon system, with one at the top and the other in the bottom. Because the Punic is a hero ship, the breakwaters not only have greater range compared to the breakwaters on the Vindication, they also shoot armor-piercing submax. This means that not only do these breakwater rounds do more damage than normal breakwaters, but its bursts, if they hit a reactor, it will trigger the reactor kill mechanic and the ship will be destroyed. So that's how powerful these bad boys are. The third weapon of mass destruction on this vessel are its longsword bombers. Like the Aeon, the longswords carry nukes, which they will fire after being launched from medium range onwards. However, the Punic has a unique feature with its longswords. Tapping the button will fire about 6 normal longswords that will fire their normal nuke, but holding it down will fire 3 heavy longswords that carry a nuclear warhead that has the same power as a Shiva. However, that is not the kicker. The real kicker is that all occupants in the Punic can fire these. That would be a total of 18 normal longsword nukes and 9 Shiva nukes. This is a ridiculous amount of destructive power. The fourth weapon on the Punic is its Archer missile system. Only the pilot can fire this weapon platform. However, it should be mentioned that the Punic can fire 30 Archer missiles. Additionally, they have much greater range than normal Archers, which means they are more threatening to Covenant ships. Now, on to the more support defensive armaments. The Punic's pilot can fire defensive fighters. These fighters help your allies by protecting them from Covenant strike craft. Fun fact, they can also protect UNSC objectives when they are on defense in fleet invasion. Same goes for the Aeon, so be sure to remember that. Sadly, you cannot send defensive fighters towards yourself. It will have to depend on another UNSC carrier to send its defensive fighters towards you. Just be sure to send some yourself to return the favor. Additionally, while the Punic can fire less of these before needing to cool down, the defensive fighter cooldown is much faster, meaning the Punic can send its defensive fighters to its allies like they're free candy. Finally, the last tool in the Punic's armory is its point defense system. Not only do all occupants have access to this weapon platform, they all fire a huge amount of point defense rounds each. This means that even without defensive fighters, the Punic is well protected from Covenant strike craft. I would also like to mention and thank Imperator Vegetarius for actually not only creating the ship from the ground up, or at least importing it to the Slipspace mod after getting the model from Sins of the Prophets, he also created the point defense models on this Punic. This means the Punic is the only ship, at least for now, that has its point defense actually modeled. You can actually see the turrets moving and turning based on where you're looking. He also stated that because of this, he will be adding point defense turrets to other UNSC ships in the future. That I cannot wait to see. As you can see, the Punic is an absolute titan of a ship, worthy of the category hero ship. So, with that out of the way, let's talk about its strengths. With 2 powerful mechs with long range, 30 Archer missiles, 2 armor-piercing breakwaters, 3 longsword bays that include heavy longswords and a robust point defense system, this thing will annihilate any Covenant fleet without a hero ship of their own. The strengths of the Punic come down to its firepower, health, and its ability to help its allies. Not only can the Punic dish out punishing damage to the enemy, it can protect its allies via numerous defensive fighter squadrons. This will force the Covenant to have to get close to the UNSC in order for them to use their plasma torpedoes, beam emitters, lances, and plasma cannons, as it is the only way for them to fight a UNSC fleet that is well protected by defensive fighters. Because its mech has a fast reload and insane range, it does do about the same amount of damage the Artemis does, and can send in so many long swords, it can pulverize Covenant ships from afar. Your best strategy is to hang back in the middle of your formation. Send your longswords towards the enemy constantly. Use your max to snipe ships similar to an artillery. Just communicate with your pilot. More on that later. Additionally, the Punic has a huge amount of health and never loses its armor, meaning this thing can take a lot of hits before going down. And I mean this even more so than a normal tank ship like a Vindication or CAS. It can also recover around 50% of its health, and its repair starts quicker too. If the Covenant start to push, use your breakwaters and aim for the Covenant ship's shield reactors. The range of these breakwaters is remarkable, so use them to your advantage. Now, onto the weaknesses. While the Punic is a monster and in the hands of capable players can be a wrecking ball, it has severe weaknesses that need to be addressed. Firstly is its size. While awe-inspiring to the UNSC and intimidating to the Covenant, this is its first point of vulnerability. Additionally, while having lots of point defense, it does take some time to get used to them, as the positioning of the cursor versus where your point defense is actually going to hit is slightly different on this ship compared to other UNSC ships due to its size. This means the Punic is vulnerable to Serfs, Turesks, and especially boarding craft. Remember, no matter how big or small your ship is, if you get 6 ticks at the same time on your ship, you're going to explode. So make sure to keep an eye on your surroundings. Another weakness it has is its slow maneuverability. Because of its sheer size and weight, the maneuverability on the ship in particular feels slow and sluggish. This leads to the biggest and most dangerous thing the Covenant can do to a Punic, the SDV Spore. The SDV is small but nimble and can extend its life by its fast recharging Slipspace drive and its pulse disruptors, which stop anything from the enemy side locking onto it. Since the Covenant can chain jump, all they have to do is all get together, chain jump to your position, and start firing their plasma cannons without mercy. This is like watching hyenas attacking a baby elephant. It may take a while, and the Punic might get an SDV or two, but eventually the SDV will overwhelm and destroy it. Keep this in mind and make sure you have all the UNSC ships protecting you. Another vulnerability that needs to be discussed. Only the gunners have access to both Macs, one each. The pilot does not have access to the Mac guns, meaning that the pilot has to constantly communicate with his gunners to make sure that they are in line to be able to take their shots at Covenant ships. Otherwise, the Punic will constantly miss because the ship is not in the right position in order to be able to hit the targets that the gunners are trying to aim for. So it is very crucial and vital, I would say, that all 3 players be communicating with each other. In a similar way as how Covenant players communicate with each other on their ships to ensure that they are working together as effectively, as efficiently as possible, as per their seat in the ship, the same is very true for the Punic as well. So keep that in mind. Another vulnerability is your lack of evasive thrusters. While the Punic has a lot of health, slowly but surely it will take damage over time. So make sure you get some distance and do your best to take advantage of its repair feature once your health reaches below 50% threshold. Now with all the weaknesses discussed, let's get on to tips and tricks and ship escorts. Harrises are always a good escort to have. They can shoot down incoming strike craft with their superb point defense. They can also assist you in engaging the enemy at long range with their Max, Archers, Shivas, and harpoons. If a Covenant ship gets too close, then they can use that same deadly arsenal to destroy any Covenant ship that are trying to get behind you or take advantage of your slow mobility. Surprisingly, the Anansi can help you out tremendously. Not only can its shield protect you, Archers are useful in suppressing Covenant ships. Longbows are an excellent tool at disrupting Covenant ships and making sure their shields do not recharge. The Eon is not redundant. On the contrary, it is necessary. Its ability to fire defensive fighters will be very helpful in keeping Covenant strikers off your back. Its own longswords and Mac gun can also help in assisting you destroy the Covenant. So make sure to reciprocate the Eon support by always sending your own defensive fighters to check. Because this ship is not available in Forge, I sadly cannot show you where you have to be on the ship in order to get onto its multiple seats. Fear not, as Imperator has said in his Punic streams, that in the not so distant future there will be a new map. When a new map drops, it usually contains all the content of the Slipspace mod up to that point in Forge. So as soon as that map drops, I'll make a short clip explaining how to get in this ship in Forge. The Punic and this update as a whole have changed the name of the game completely. Not only does this ship have incredible power, but the fact that we can play with this ship and other hero ships in normal game mode will make the Slipspace mod an absolutely incredible experience cranked to 1000. Not to mention that many new ship slots are now available for the Slipspace mod. So this means that the Slipspace mod is nowhere near finishing, but it's just getting started. As far as the Punic, this ship is a lot of fun to use. Its long swords will overwhelm any Covenant crew that is not seasoned, and its max will cut through the vacuum of space and obliterate any Covenant ship unlucky to be in its way. It was a blast playing this ship, and I can't wait to play it more in the future. This is Lunar Abyss, and I will see you later. Bye.